Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your Washington Commanders update, and I am your host, Candy CWall Waller, checking in as I do all throughout the NFL season to give you the latest and greatest information on the Washington Commanders. If you are watching this on YouTube, welcome. I hope you are subscribed to Bowie TV, and I really hope you're enjoying all of the content that we have to share on this channel. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, share this channel with your just overall DMV loving family and friends. We have so much on here for you all to sink your teeth into. So I hope you all are enjoying all of the content so far. If you're watching from your television screens on Verizon Channel 11 or Comcast Xfinity Channel 77, hello. Hope you enjoy watching. I also do a game recap right after game day or the day after game day. So, of course, if it was Monday night, it's going to be on Tuesdays. If it's Thursday night, it'll be on Fridays. So on Sundays, it's on Monday nights at 7:30, live stream. Make sure you join, subscribe, get the alerts for get the notifications. Make sure when you subscribe, you click on receive notifications so that you know when new content is posted. Just if you want to pop on for a live or any of the lives, because we typically go live all throughout the week with different shows, and you want to comment, you want to watch, you want to check it out, absolutely do so. Washington Commanders update specifically Mondays at 7:30, or just try to remember the day after game day at 7:30, unless something changes with the schedule. So, headed into week 6, if you all follow me on X at CWall SE or on my Facebook, you already know that I have posted something that was not on my bingo card for the NFL 2024-2025 season, and that is that this week's Commanders versus Ravens matchup would be this big of a deal nationally. You may have also seen my post where I said, hey, word from Bowie TV sports reporter Karita Parks from the Baltimore Ravens locker room and practice is that this is business as usual for the Baltimore Ravens, okay? This isn't the big time battle of the beltway that everyone is coining it. This is just week 6, playing a football game. Up next on the schedule are the Washington Commanders. I can tell you all, it's the same vibe from the Washington Commanders. This is week 6. The Baltimore Ravens are up next. They're just focused on winning, right? Or just winning. Both teams focused on winning. So, not anything out of the ordinary. Everybody's just working hard. So, that's a good thing to me. That means that the outside, even though we're all taking part of it, right? Media and fans alike are all taking part in this conversation about what this game means for the area, okay? What this just means for where we're headed in football. You all may have heard me mention in a previous episode regarding the series, the evolution of the black quarterback. We're seeing more and more of that, right, throughout the league. So this is, of course, highlighting reigning NFL MVP Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels with the Commanders. We all know, the historic month he had in September, historic in so many ways. So, yes, this is exciting, but for both teams, hey, every week is business. And so they're ready to get down. I know some Commanders fans, if you are watching this, and hopefully you've gotten a chance to check it out before kickoff, everybody's disappointed about Brian Robinson Jr. not being able to play. So we'll get into that a bit in this episode. But also, kind of as an announcement, before the game, I mentioned Bowie TV Sports colleague, Baltimore Ravens reporter Karita Parks. We are doing a pregame from M&T Bank Stadium. You all make sure you're following me here. Make sure you're tuned in with All Burgundy and Gold. Everything, if you subscribe to Bowie TV, it will be on here as well. It will be on my Facebook page as I'm streaming. So you'll be able to catch us. Trust and believe. It'll be a good day. The weather's supposed to be beautiful. So hopefully at the end of all of this, let's just all hope we watch a really, really great game. So let's go ahead and move into this. You all know that I like to share clips. I like to share clips. And while this is not live, I still like to share clips and have good conversation and talk to you all about it. And so hopefully while you're watching this, you can still, of course, that thumbs up, drop your comments in the chat. And if I can get to your comments and circle back to it in another episode, I will absolutely try my best to do that. This past week, of course, after week 5, I wanted to talk to 2 players. So up next, I have a couple of interviews I want to share with you all. One with defensive tackle Phidarian Mathis. I think Phidarian Mathis has kind of been an unsung hero here recently. We know he's gone through some injuries, but I think in just seeing the progress of the defense, Phidarian Mathis is one of those players that is actually starting to really settle in his role. So it's been kind of cool to see that happen. Another one of the interviews that is coming up right after that is with rookie wide receiver Luke McCaffrey. So first up, I want you all to take a watch and a listen to my conversation with Phidarian Mathis. Hey everybody, this is Candy Wall from Blue TV checking in with defensive tackle Phidarian Mathis. Phidarian, how you doing today? Phidarian, can you share a bit about just your overall journey? You know, once you came in as a rookie, you had to deal with a serious injury and that recovery process. So what was that recovery process like?
It's very stressful. It's long. I feel like people don't understand how it's not easy just to bounce back, especially playing my position. It's just not easy just to bounce back just like that. So you got it take a lot of rehab. It take a lot of faith. It take a lot of courage to just even wake up and want to play ball again. You know, so it take a lot just to even wake up and just want to have that grind mindset. So yeah, it's really stressful, but it's been a long journey for sure. I'm just happy to be back, you know, just feeling great again.
And in covering the team, I've seen just you talk about just kind of finding that joy again or that happiness again and dealing with that injury. But you look like you're having a lot of fun out there. So how are you doing so far this year? You've had a couple big games, so what's that been like?
I feel great this year, you know. I just feel like you always got to have the energy, you know. You got to bring that energy. I know just coming where I come from, you got to bring that energy around other guys. So some people might not be having a great day, but I know with my character, I can uplift guys just with my presence for sure.
So can you share a bit about this past Sunday's game, specifically against the Cleveland Browns? What were some of the things that you saw in their offense that made you just want to really go out there and get it?
Just believing in the process of what Coach just been coaching me all off season, just bringing in the tools, just what we went over all week, just bringing all that to the game, just trusting my tools, trusting my technique, what Coach and them been providing us all week long. So I mean, it's really just the simple things, just the little things, focus on the little things, and just work hard at it, and everything will pay off like it did last Sunday.
And upcoming, you have the Ravens, led by, everybody knows Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. So what are you looking forward to most about this matchup?
Really just going out there, have fun, doing my job, just really buying into the scheme, what Coach Wick called up for everybody in the D-line room. Just everybody being on the same page and don't make the game bigger than what it is. Just go out there and have fun. I think we'll be all right for sure.
Thank you. So if you heard Phidarian say at the end, don't make the game bigger than what it is. The team acknowledges that there is a lot of just overall attention, especially with the Baltimore Ravens are always going to get attention. So that is nothing new. But after the first 5 weeks of the Commanders and everyone seeing Jaden Daniels, this has just gotten like, whoa. But that's why they continue to say, and you've heard Jaden Daniels say this as well, he's keeping the main thing the main thing. They're staying focused. Of course, they're going to have fun doing what they love, but it is focus time. Try not to get way too wrapped up into all of the social media and just overall attention that the team is getting right now. I think the Baltimore Ravens are probably used to all of this attention because of course they are. And of course, Lamar Jackson has been getting it for his entire career. So we'll see what happens. But I just wanted to make sure you all heard that as well. They're just keeping good focus. Next up is my conversation with rookie wide receiver Luke McCaffrey. So, Luke, headed into week 6. How has this entire regular NFL season been for you?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been really cool just to see how we've bonded, how we've grown closer as a team, and then kind of how we've seen the improvement in the growth in just a short 6 weeks, and hopefully, in another 6 weeks we can see another big spurt of growth. So it's been a lot of fun just building connections, competing, and having fun.
From a rookie class perspective, what do you think you all are bringing as a whole to the team?
Yeah, well, I think we've been blessed with a lot of good vets, first and foremost. A lot of guys who play the game the right way, who approach the off the field stuff the right way, and who love football. And so I think we've been so blessed to have that group of vets, and then kind of bring it in, as a group ourselves to just embrace what they've been preaching and to have fun and grow close together. And that's something you don't always hear about NFL teams, but I think it's been really cool to just see everybody get along and bond.
And as a position group, the wide receivers, what are you all developing as your identity?
Yeah, we have a lot. We want to be able to, make big plays when it matters as our whole team, but we also want to be able to, make other people's plays in terms of blocking, in terms of doing that and being able to let other people have big explosive plays. And so we're just doing whatever we're told and trying to make the most of that while also creating explosive plays.
So in last week's after game presser, Coach Quinn mentioned Austin Eckler's 57-yard run. OZ was down there, you were down there as well. So what just goes into finishing and being able to, you ended up fumbling, you all covered it.
Yeah.
So what goes into that?
Yeah, we have a great motto called finish past the ball. And I love that. That kind of puts into words the message of what we want our culture to be, what we want every single play to be. And it's finish past the ball and the ball finds energy, right? So between those two quotes, it's been cool to just see that play out in games and see why it matters. That play is a perfect example of seeing OZ fall on the fumble, right? Because he was just playing hard, playing fast, and following the ball.
Thank you. So I have been making a big deal about that 57-yard run by Austin Eckler versus the Cleveland Browns, which the Browns defense made a play, punched the ball out. Could you imagine had they recovered that? But as I described here, and we've talked about this a couple times, Dan Quinn mentioned it in his after-game presser, as I said here. I asked him about it there. I asked him about it again during the week. I asked Luke McCaffrey about it because it's just the idea around finishing. And OZ, Luke right there, I think that play shows just the overall culture, exactly what Luke just said, that this team is building and just showing how they want to play for one another. Keep that play in your pocket. I like to do, if you are new, I like to do something called use your clues. Okay. And if you've been here before, you already know how I am about use your clues. Let me see. Where's my use your clues? I like to play use your clues. Why do I like to play use your clues? You might ask. Because I say use your clues, pull those receipts, because conversations, I bring them back up. I can recall or recite or remember through a previous press conference, previous interview, when things have been said. And what does that mean? What are they sharing? And then when you see it out on the football field on game day, you can always tie it back to something that was said previously, to what we may have seen in practice during the summer. whatever the case may be. So knowing that this is something, you heard Luke share it, one of the mottos. They have several mottos. You've heard them say some of their mottos. And I've noticed this about Luke McCaffrey. He consistently repeats back the various mottos. He's one of the many players, but I've noticed it specifically in his media scrums. And when we're talking to him, he's always repeating what they're teaching. So you saw that in real life, in real action. And I thought it was super cool how he was able to just still talk about their role as the wide receiver group. Yes, they want to make explosive plays, but they want to help others make explosive plays as well. And that Austin Eckler 57-yard run is something, an example of helping others make explosive plays. Next up, let's get into some Coach Quinn clips. Why don't we? So I'm going to jump around a little bit here in terms of the different press conferences based on the topic that I want to talk about. One of the game captains for this week in week 6 is a player that I will admittedly say I've given a hard way to go sometimes. And that is offensive lineman Andrew Wiley. Andrew Wiley is one of this week's game captains. And I've been wanting to ask, and I was going to ask this week, Coach Quinn about Andrew Wiley. It just so happened that he was a game captain as well. So check this clip out of my question to Coach Quinn on Andrew Wiley and his response.
Hey, Coach. So interestingly enough, one of the players I wanted to ask about is a game captain this week. I wanted to know what you've seen so far out of Andrew Wiley.
Yeah, and I thought a couple things, just like his consistency about it. And behind the scenes, Candy, one of the things that we all admire about Andrew is like just the willingness that he does with the guys. You should hear him as the communication with that group and the standards they have. And on the sideline, it's a lot of fun to see him and Allegretti and Tyler and Sam and the guys talking and encouraging one another. But Andrew's usually right in the middle of that. I'm not going to call him the old head of the group, but he does have like a calming effect. You know, he's been in the fights, and I think he just brings a lot of that to our team. And the toughness is one thing that stands out to me.
So one of the, maybe not an old head, but I think it's okay to call him an OG though. I think OG may be appropriate. At any rate, it was cool to hear first that he's a game captain, right? And what Coach Quinn shared about Andrew, because again, admittedly, I've given Andrew Wiley a hard way to go. I have. I know I have. And to know and to even see, round of applause, clap emojis, fire emojis for the offensive line. Why don't we, folks? Because a lot of Jaden Daniels and the overall offense success is because of this offensive line. And I know I've given the offensive line a very hard way to go. So one of the weak links that I thought was Andrew Wiley, and seeing what he's done so far, also knowing the role he's playing in the overall development of that position group, I thought was compelling. So I know I was seeing it. So I wanted to ask Coach about it anyway, but him being a game captain for this week solidifies exactly what I was thinking that I saw. So good job overall to the offensive line. Got to give props to Andrew Wiley. Hey, if you're going to be critical, if you're going to be critical, then got to give flowers too, right? Got to give the flowers too. Here's another player, but this is on the defensive line. And we've been talking about him a bit, but I wanted to get Coach Quinn's take on Dorrance Armstrong.
And you've been with Dorrance Armstrong for a bit now. So what have you seen in his game and how he's developed over time?
Yeah, I think the things that the team respects, you always know what you're going to get from Dorrance. And that's a really good thing. And like if you say his name, you know what's going to happen. And so I thought over the last few weeks, I've really seen not just him, but the defensive line's connection with stunts and movements to go. And Dorrance has been right in the middle of that. He's one of the very best communicators amongst that group. And sometimes he can see around the corners, hey, this is what needs to happen next. This is, kind of set it up a little bit. And so he's got very high standards about him. But he's very consistent. And that part alone adds value because he's going to do, where he's supposed to do it at a really high level. So we all have a lot of regard for him.
So Dorrance Armstrong has continued to rate high amongst edge rushers. So we'll see what he brings. A few weeks ago, I was like, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne. And then when it was time for everyone to step up, Dorrance Armstrong led that charge. And folks are following suit. Deron Payne is a game captain this week as well. But again, if you're going to be critical, you have to give flowers when they are due. So flowers to Dorrance Armstrong as well. This next clip was also from the Friday press conference with Dan Quinn. I thought the questions about the culture and the connection that this team is building were excellent. And I thought the response from Coach Quinn was powerful. I want to share this with you all. This is around the 3-minute or so clip. But you definitely want your notepad and pen out on this one, because I think this is a use your clues moment. And I really want to talk about this and get down into some nitty gritty about this clip and what Coach Quinn is sharing. So check it out.
Coach, I'm Lindsay. It's good to see you.
Hi, Lindsay.
Hey, I was wondering if you could just share maybe what has meant the most to you, the success that you guys have had so far, the way that you've done it. Is there something behind the scenes that people wouldn't necessarily know about what makes you the most proud?
I would say the team is connecting quick, and they've put aside what normal feeling out processes or agendas about what's important to them, and it's been about their group. And that's been my favorite part of our team right now, is the team, and to see, the way they support one another on the field, on the sideline. And so the examples of that, there was a turnover, the defense had a stop, there was a stop at the end of a half to get the ball back to the offense to score. So I'd say that isn't easy, with 70 people and coaches to get, relationships and connections together. And so you have to be deliberate about it. So I'd say knowing that more established teams, maybe 3 or 4 years together, you have that. This team is really capturing how to do that and fast tracking those relationships. We're not where we're going to be as an inclusive group, but they have bonded, they have connected, and they really want to play hard for one another. And I'll say that's probably the thing that makes me proud. We're starting to realize this is our way, the speed, the effort, the finishing, and we just need to continue more. And the more they play together, the more they'll do that.
Is it quicker than in your past experience with other teams?
Yes, it is. It's a lot of people together for the first time. I think the rookie class also, Nikki, came in as a very mature group. And so sometimes it's the old guys teaching the new guys, this is how we do it. But they were kind of ready to be involved right away. They didn't have the normal feel it out process. And you may have heard me say earlier, these were our little brothers, not our pledges. And so they were going to be part of this right from the beginning. And so guys like Jaden and Samerstill and Coleman and McCaffrey and I'm sure Johnny Newton, others, they've got a real, serious, mature approach about them. And the other players, they looked, is that going to be again tomorrow? And looked, and then pretty soon they could count on these young guys to say, hey, these guys, they can help us win. And that's, to me, I think that helped because there wasn't like this separation between young guys and old guys. It just became a team connected quickly. I love the fact that it's not just an offense or defense, but all hands on deck. You see receivers on teams and safeties and corners. And so like this blend of people, like special teams kind of intersects all of it. And I love that they're all involved, from kick returns to blocking punts to DA in to, whatever it is, all hands on deck. I think that contributes to it, knowing that like they're all part of one another's success and the preparation that goes into it. And when they have a victory, they're all, responsible for the wins. And so to me, that's probably why it's happened quicker.
I thought that was just compelling. And you've seen it. And for Coach to immediately say that he has not experienced seeing a team connect, this quickly. I just think make a note. because it is important. If you've watched previous episodes of my show, I have consistently talked about organizational culture and how long it takes to build that culture and build that trust. And Coach Quinn is talking about it right there, right? He's confirming the things that I've shared previously, which is it takes a while to build those things. 3 to 4 years. I mean, it takes a bit. And this is only a matter of months where this connection, this culture and this connection have come together and have started to gel. Hopefully it continues, right? Hopefully it continues. But it's still quite remarkable to see happening in real time. And I have a lot of thoughts on all of the factors, right? I mean, Coach Quinn mentions one of them himself, the maturity of the rookie class. And as he mentioned, it has been something that he's mentioned to us before, which is the veterans do not treat the rookies like they're pledges, right? This is a brotherhood. They are families, big brother, little brothers. Big brothers, little brothers, they're not pledges. So it's not any of that kind of funny business going on. It is truly a meld of connection and trust building that they have been able to accomplish. And they're listening to their coaches. They're playing for one another. The coaches are responding to what the players, even individually, are able to do very well versus not. They're just able to make those strides, which I think is super important. It is an exciting time. And hey, we're going to get to the injuries. I think it's actually up next. So we're going to get into that. But I don't think there's a Commanders fan out there or just a very objective analyst out there that can watch and see what they're seeing on Sundays and say, okay, this is different. This is different. I'm talking about from what everybody has seen over the years. I'm talking about folks who are from this area. Now, let's be clear. There's definitely been onlookers for years. There have been people who've jumped in and on to cover the team, and they're not from this area. I'm talking about the folks tried and true from this area that have watched some mess over the decades. Can't even say over the years, over the decades. This looks very different. And it looks very different in a short period of time. And I think one of the common threads or themes for why it looks so different is that connection that Coach Quinn is talking about, right? It can also be a symptom of Coach Quinn, Adam Peters, the coaching staff that they have brought together to support these men in winning football games. That could have a lot to do with it as well. Once everyone has that culture established, says this is how we want to play, this is how we want to do this, everybody gets on board with it, things can happen. Things can happen. So I thought that was important to bring up. I didn't want anybody to miss that very important point. You all know how I am. Very important point. Didn't want anyone to miss it. So make sure you all don't. Okay? Make sure you all don't, because I think what you're saying is real. With that being said, let's go ahead and play the clips from when Coach Quinn shared with us some of the IR updates as well as injury updates. Check it out.
Do you plan to bump up one of the IR guys ahead of Sunday's game?
We'll Adam and I were going to visit tonight and see if there's somebody that we think would to get into that space. So it's been good to see the guys back and into working, and so they've definitely put in the work. So yeah, we're going to visit on that tonight.
And here is his comment with the injury updates.
Injury updates. Brian Robinson, didn't see him out there. What's his status?
Yeah, we'll take another look where he's at tomorrow to see if it's just turning for the best and see where we go, and we'll take it all the way up through the game or up to the game, John, with B-Rob.
Is there any concern with this being something he's going to have to deal with for a while? Or is this more of a short-term thing?
feels more short, but anytime you're dealing, with an injury, you want to make sure, is there any longevity to that? If we wouldn't put him out there if that was the case.
And then last one, Cleveland, and then Noah Brown, too.
Yep. So Clee was able to get some work today, so that was good. So getting work yesterday and again today. And Noah had a really good session, we thought, yesterday and did some stuff to the side today. So both of them had good weeks. Yeah.
So now we all know Cleveland Farrell is cleared. Noah Brown cleared. Because this was yesterday, right? What Coach Quinn was talking about regarding Brian Robinson Jr. We'll take a look at tomorrow. We'll see. We'll know that this was not all the way up to the game. They made the decision today. So that means, he's dealing with an injury. I mean, we knew this last week, though, everybody. This is where we all have to do what? You all have learned this, or you are revisiting this idea of using your clues. We knew last week, leading into the Cleveland Browns, that Brian Robinson Jr. did not practice. And we shared that information. And he was a game time decision. And then he ended up being active because it was indeed more like a game time decision. But they utilized Brian Robinson Jr. Very short yardage. Yes, he got touchdowns, but very short yardage. Brian Robinson Jr. did not play that entire game at all. And he did not practice again this week. It is a knee injury. Okay? So all we can do now is wish Brian Robinson Jr. get well soon. We'll see what happens with this, because this is developing. Now this is developing. Okay, we know that Jordan McGee, rookie linebacker Jordan McGee, who I've been anticipating his return, is also out. F.A. Obata has been activated from the IR. Chris Rodriguez Jr., running back Chris Rodriguez Jr., corner Kevon Seymour, elevated from the practice squad again this week. So let's hope for the best for Brian Robinson Jr. Let's hope this is not a long-term situation, but hey, it's a knee injury. Let's also just say this. Believe the Ravens' run defense is pretty good. Pretty good. So it's a strong possibility. Hey, this is something serious going on. This is not worth the risk. Not against a top run defense. So you might see a bit different of a game plan because the Ravens' run defense is so good. So keep those things in mind. Again, hoping this is not something that is long-term. But you also have to remember that this is a team that has long-term aspirations in this season. Okay? That is how they talk. And so far at 4-1, this looks compelling that that's what they would like to do. So is it worth it right now? Is it even possible? The injury could be that serious, where it's not possible right now. We hope that it's not. If it's not, then would you really want to risk it on one of the top run defenses in the league? I would say not. Long game here. Long game, no pun intended. Season is long. It's just week 6. The season is long. So that is going to be a developing story. What I will say is, Commanders fans, look, I know everybody wants to see Brian Robinson Jr. And have him out there. Trust me, I'm so certain that no one is more disappointed in this news and decision. No one is more disappointed than Brian. I'm so certain of it, right? I don't know for sure, but I'm certain, as much as he loves to play and compete, he wants to be out there with his team. But hey, it is what it is. We just got to hope that it's not too egregious per se. Now, moving on to the next topic. Coach Quinn was asked about Jaden Daniels and just his overall focus in this particular week. Check out his response.
And shocking, I have a question about Jaden Daniels. Especially with this week, as there's been so much attention around this game in particular. How have you seen him approach? Has he been even more locked in than usual? And is that rare for a rookie in your experience?
In a good news way, I wouldn't say more, because the normal is remarkable. And I thought he and I thought Lamar both handled it in their own unique ways about playing quarterback in their own styles and their own ways. And I tend to agree with both of them, to be honest with you. I really love the competitive nature of both of them, but I think, past that, their games are different. And I think both of those kind of brought that to light. And I think I think they were both really on it.
So listen, Jaden Daniels is Jaden Daniels. Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson. And we'll all get to see them play against each other very soon. And I think that everybody's excited, but understand this is week 6 for them. And everybody's going to go into week 6 across the NFL. Nobody goes into a game wanting to lose. So everybody's going to be putting their best foot forward, and they're going to want to try to win this football game. But we also know that somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose. Remains to be seen who that will be in this game, which brings me to my next clip, which is this really a rivalry? The Commanders and the Ravens? Is it?
Do you consider Washington and Baltimore rivals?
For me, first, kind of getting here and getting started, I didn't naturally think of that coming in because of the division and the history of what the NFC East has been so much with the teams that way. So that was probably the first thing I thought with rivalries with Washington of the NFC East. I think there's always a connection when cities are, closer by, but the fact that we're not in the same division and the same conference, for me, my first, time playing Baltimore as a Commander, my first thought was the East first.
Is that something that, like, you talk to the guys, or you feel like there's any extra energy in the building, or is it like it's?
I think it's awesome
normal
for the fans, but not for the team. It's honestly just, it's not something that we play. You play them every 4 years, so it's not like every season, twice a year, where you just know each other so well. So I think it's really cool for the fans. It's close by, and but past that, for us, it's right back to it again.
So here's my take. They're not even in the same conference. The AFC, the NFC. In my opinion, if we're talking rivals, I think the Commanders perhaps are still trying to identify who their rivals really is. But I think, by default, okay, it's still the Cowboys, I guess. But until the Commanders are back in competitive streak and really see where it gets warm and the heat's up, I agree with Coach Quinn anyway. It's always within your division. The NFC East, that's when you're in the division. I think the Commanders and the Ravens play every 4 years. So it's hard to have a rival that you don't play every year. So totally can see that. But the energy is going to be there like it's a rivalry, but it's probably going to be that way. Of course, when the Commanders play the Cowboys and everything, it may be that way when the Commanders play the Steelers too. I envision that game being stacked for sure, but I agree with Coach. It's division based, I think, still for the Commanders franchise and fan base, and just overall, it's just you see teams 2 times a year. It's kind of that makes more sense to have a rivalry versus a team you only play every 3 to 4 years. So that is my take on it as well. Let me go ahead and. After how long has it been? About 30 so minutes, almost 40 minutes. Let's just go ahead and deal with the elephant in the room. I said Lamar Jackson a couple times. How are the Commanders going to stop Derrick Henry? Can they stop Derrick Henry? We're already going to find this out. Okay, you got Lamar Jackson, but you also there's an and there, a very important and. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, and as we all know, like I said at the top of the show, the Baltimore Ravens are a very good football team. They are consistently good. It is a great organization. Boy TV covers the Baltimore Ravens. There's plenty of Baltimore Ravens content on this channel that you all can dive into and learn more about the team and what they're saying about the Commanders this week. All of those practice highlights are on this channel, so you can check that out as well. But Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry. Okay. And I really enjoyed Coach Quinn's response to this question regarding Derrick Henry. Check it out.
How do you stop a guy like Derrick Henry? Like, how do you even prepare your guys to stop somebody like that?
Well, I think first off, you better have a really good tackling plan, and that's, what, part of his success through the years. Not only like sometimes you see a big back Nicky and you just think he's just going to run people over, and he has that part of his game, but he can also stiff arm. We've seen that. And he also has like a really good jab step. So when you're thinking, hey, I'm going to go take my shot on him, he puts a foot in the ground to make you miss. And so that's, to me, what makes, part of his superpower, the ability to have all three ways to stiff arm you, lower a shoulder, and then make you miss. Not all the time, but a lot of times the big guys may have, I'm going to run you over, stiff arm, and just play that powerful style. But when you put all, ingredients together, you better have a really good tackling plan. And against a player like that, and any good running back, you want to make sure you're having as few one-man tackles as you can.
I mean, the stiff arm, like you said, as few one-man tackles as you can. Is that part of the strategy in defending him, is to avoid that stiff arm that he has?
Yeah, you have to work that technique just like any other, where you have to break a stiff arm down before you enter into the tackle. And but that is one of the things that he does, really well. Is so like going through the scout teams and going through the week and evaluating tape and how do you drill it? Is it the same as playing him live? Like, hell no. Like, there's no one that we have on our team that can simulate him for practice. Yeah, we could. So nobody. But to put it very bluntly, but you can work the technique, and that's what you have to do.
So we will see if working the technique is working. All right. And if it's going to work for 60 whole minutes. Now, here's the thing. And you all have heard me say this on previous episodes, where it's like, listen, you just cannot expect that nobody is just like, they're just going to be a donut. Like, it's going to be 0 points scored. You can't expect that. These folks are getting paid just like everybody else, everybody involved, right? So you cannot expect just a 0 score, But I can appreciate Coach Quinn just breaking down just the athletic ability and skill set that Derrick Henry has. It's not, the norm, right? For anybody to have that kind of skill set and do what he's so effectively been able to do over years and over time. Now, as we've seen the Commanders defense improve in tackling, this is the week where your tackling got to be top tier. Got to be a top tier tackler this week. Now, while it has improved, and Coach Quinn and Coach Witt have mentioned this as well, still not top tier. All right. Got to start being top tier this week. Mixing Quinn and Witt. Coach Witt has talked a lot about still wanting to get interceptions, get those picks, recover those fumbles, force fumbles, pass breakups. They're all great. But get the ball into your hands. And if you can break away to get into the end zone with that football to get a pick six, beautiful. So he still wants to see the team forcing turnovers and really just owning and finishing that moment. Okay, you forced the turnover. Okay, what you going to do with the football? Get it in the end zone. Get it down the field. So, hey, everybody has to prepare every week in the NFL, but the Baltimore Ravens is hard for everybody. It's a hard team to beat for everybody, and it has been for years. So I know also last week, I believe Coach Quinn was asked about this game being a measuring stick. He said they don't think of it like that because they just want to plan for the team that they're playing. So you heard in that clip I just played, Coach Quinn really get into some of the specifics about trying to assimilate a Derrick Henry play. And he's like, there's nobody on the team that can assimilate him. Then he said it again. Nobody, just to make it frank. No, there's not. Okay. Being real honest, and we appreciate that. We appreciate that level of transparency. It's amazing. So, missed tackle. I mean, and to be fair, Derrick Henry makes the best of tacklers miss, because he just has that type of strength. So we'll see how this plays out. Has Derrick Henry been stopped before? Well, yes, he has. Stopping him for 60 minutes, though, don't know about all that. So Lamar's already dangerous. Let's not forget, they still have a very, very good tight end tandem and Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews. Let's not forget, they still have a wide receiver core that is still dynamic, and Zay Flowers and Nelson Aguilar and others. So I believe Rashad Bateman is playing. I think he was on the injury report a couple times throughout the week, but where it would make a difference from a defensive perspective, in my opinion, it comes down to the Ravens offensive line. They have had offensive line challenges throughout the year, right? They lost quite a few offensive linemen in free agency. Unfortunately, their O-line coach passed away. And so they're still gelling there. So if the defensive line, we said with the Commanders' defensive line, a turning point was against the Cardinals. Then you saw a bit more of that against the Cleveland Browns. But see, the difference is this week, that's Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry behind that offensive line. So speed, right? Moving fast, quickly to get to the quarterback as much as you can. Will be, it'll be a thing before you know it, both of them can have 100 yards rushing. That's the thing about that, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. So it will be an interesting task and quite difficult one for this Commanders defense. Let's see if the turning the corner really happens and it's able to happen in this week. And hey, here's the reality. They could turn the corner and still lose. So let's just be for real. I just try to be objective, right? They could turn the corner and still lose. From an offensive perspective, you all know I still kind of have to clutch. If I was wearing pearls, I would clutch them. About just the Jaden Daniels having to go out there and score those points. But hey, that is what the NFL is about. You got to run the scoreboard up. Got to run these numbers up, because even in losses, we've seen teams lose and they scored 30 plus points and they still lost, because somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose. So high scoring game, high power offenses. That is kind of like the name of the league. That's kind of the overarching excitement about the league, right? Everybody scoring touchdowns, getting into the red zone. That's what it's about. So we'll see if they can continue to do that while limiting turnovers. If a turnover happens, make sure, hey, defense, get them the ball back, but having that short memory and not deviating too much from what's working, right? This could be a very pass-heavy game, right? This could be a pass-heavy game. This could be a game, okay, you're without Brian Robinson Jr., but you do have Austin Eckler and you do have Jeremy McNichols, both who break tackles and are quick. They're fast. But this could be a game where, remember last week I said, hey, the tight end connection, Zach Ertz, Jaden Daniels, not really working this past week. Maybe this is a week that gets going. Maybe this is a week where you all get a chance to see the bulldozer rookie tight end Ben Sinnott. I called him a bulldozer. Nobody else called him. Maybe somebody else did, but I just did, because he's pretty tough. Talking about somebody who could break a tackle or two or three. That would be him. And getting the wide receivers back into it. We've all seen that Jaden Daniels can throw the football. He can throw it. But got to limit mistakes. But that's everybody. That's the rule for everybody, limiting those mistakes. So we shall see how this goes. We shall see how this goes. And guess what? If you have watched this all the way to the end, I have some other information to share with you all about what the team is doing overall, just to create and enhance the overall culture. You all may have seen online that the team is rolled these luxury buses with suites, the SUITES suites, not like sweets like cake, not that. I mean, they could have had that on there, but sweets, luxury suite, you know what I mean? And just the other things that the team is doing to just overall enhance the culture. And I want to share that information with you all in the live recap on Monday. So win, lose, or draw, Monday night is going to be one you definitely want to tune in and watch. So you all listen. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the game. Make sure you tune in. I'll be streaming through here and on my page. Make sure you're following All Burgundy and Gold, everything. Fox Sports 1340 AM. Those guys have invited myself as well as Karita Parks on to just do the pregame coverage. It starts at noon Eastern time. So you all want to be locked into the channels and be on, because we're absolutely going to be on. Okay, so you all listen, have fun. Hopefully I see you at noon tomorrow, and I see you again Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern for the live recap. And if you're watching on TV, hopefully you're watching this every single day, and then you get to see me every day there. So you already know my drill. I'll be talking to you all again soon.